Running a business online? Instantly build trust with your customers with a domain and matching professional email from GoDaddy so people know you mean business. And there's never been a better time. Visit godaddy.com/GD now and you can get a domain and professional email plan for just 99 cents a month for 1 year. That's a little price for a lot of credibility. Choose the domain that's right for you and a professional email to match. Go to godaddy.com/GD now and look legit. That's godaddy.com/GD now. New customer purchases only. Products auto-renew separately. See terms on site.
Rinse takes your laundry and hand delivers it to your door, expertly cleaned and folded. So you could take the time once spent folding and sorting and waiting to finally pursue a whole new version of you. Like Tea Time You. Or this Tea Time You. Or even this Tea Time You.
Said you hear about Dave?
Or even Tea Time You.
So update on Dave.
It's up to you. We'll take the laundry. Rinse. It's time to be great.
This is Optimal Living Daily, Creating Checkpoints for Living Well by Anthony Ongaro of BreakTheTwitch.com. And I'm Justin Malik, your narrator. And we're going to jump right into today's post as we optimize your life. Creating Checkpoints for Living Well by Anthony Ongaro of BreakTheTwitch.com. I've been thinking a lot about minimalism recently, specifically the idea of living with less stuff and prioritizing experiences. Over the last 2 years, this philosophy has been incredibly effective in helping Amy and me slowly craft our lives into what we've wanted them to be. There are just so many different considerations that it can sometimes be overwhelming to think about whether or not we've landed where we should be. Is this ideal? Should we keep decluttering? Many minimalists live out of a bag or two, while some focus on having 100 things or fewer. Then you have the idea of rational minimalism, perhaps living in a tiny home or an RV, and the list goes on. There are so many different ways we can choose to live our lives, but much of it relies on the constraints or rules that we apply to make those decisions. Would it really make my life better if I only had 100 things? Despite several rounds of decluttering, we probably still have a couple thousand things in our home. I think it'd be an interesting project to count and list everything one of these days, but it's not high on the list. As it currently sits, we don't feel that our possessions are preventing us from living the life we want. Our home is easy to clean. We don't have financial obligations to things we purchased in the past, and we're not feeling held down by anything in particular. It feels like minimalism has helped us to get where we want to be. With that being said, we want to make sure that continues to be the case. One small addition of clothing or a small gadget here and there wouldn't make a noticeable difference in our happiness and environment. The problem comes when we slip into a state of relative comfort, things build up, and all of a sudden the clutter closes in. Indeed, that's the purpose of the rules that people create for themselves. They're not something intended to create discomfort or unhappiness in your life. Instead, the rules should act as a simple guide, an alert of sorts, or a notification that it's time to consider how things are changing. Once you run up against that boundary that you created, ding, it's time to mentally check in and see if the choices you're making are still in alignment with your vision. Perhaps something has changed since then and you prefer it another way now. That's the benefit of creating these types of checks and balances in your life. They're wake-up calls to evaluate if things are still going as you hoped they would. If not, it's time to adjust, modify the rule, and move on. If we spend all of our time obsessing over whether or not we have 100 items or fewer, or wondering if we might be happier with less clutter, it defeats the purpose of minimalism altogether. I've been using these concepts for a few years now, and here are 3 examples of them in my everyday life. Number 1, undershirts and graphic tees. I used to own over 50 t-shirts, and I didn't even like all of them. Free promotional shirts from events, old shirts from way too long ago, etc. They occupied multiple stacks on my closet shelves and took up a ton of space. Doing laundry became a massive chore due to wearing nearly every shirt between washings. I donated about 40 of those shirts and have since picked up only a few. I found a love for simply gray t-shirts without anything on them. Instead of putting the shirts in a folded stack in my closet, I stacked them vertically in my dresser drawer in a single column. This streamlined my laundry and allowed me to take the time to hang dry all of the shirts I have. This makes them last longer and have less wrinkles, but that's beside the point. My life is better owning only the t-shirts that I really love, so I want to keep it that way. As soon as it gets hard to fit all of my shirts into the single column of my dress drawer, I know it's time to question whether or not I still want all of them. It's a quick reminder of all the time I save doing laundry and the extra care I provide to the shirts I do love. Number 2, physical books. After purging all of my unread books, I decided to create a new rule. I tried the Kindle and ebook thing, and it was not for me. I retain information much better when I'm reading a physical book and decided to stick with the real deal. The rule? I would not purchase or borrow a new book until I'd either finished or given away the book that I was previously reading. I knew that I had a habit of buying books and then not reading them, which is not only wasteful, but simply a bad idea. It was my desire to learn about the book's topic, but then a new shiny book would come into play and pull me away from it. This rule forces me to acknowledge when I'm not interested in finishing a book, which is totally okay, and actually makes me act on getting rid of the book before acquiring the new one. Secondly, all my books are in my nightstand drawer. This space limitation allows me to focus on a small number of books that I want to reference from time to time, and similar to the shirts, provides a check-in when I have more than I can fit in the drawer. Number 3, screen time. Days spent in front of a smartphone are some of my worst days. As fun as it can be to check in with friends and loved ones with technology, infinite scrolling social media platforms and media websites play into our human psyche and, like a drug, try to keep us coming back. I use an app called Moment on my iPhone to track my daily usage. It allows me to limit the amount of time I spend on the phone, enough to take care of business with some wiggle room. I don't often have issues with this as I try to leave my phone on its charger in the other room as much as possible, but it's nice having a backup tool to keep things in check. It doesn't feel bad at the time, but looking back on a day when I've spent too much time on my digital devices just feels heavy. We can spend our time in much better ways, even simply relaxing or doing something to calm our minds. How about you? While it may seem that creating these types of restrictions on your life may make you miserable, take some time to consider what rules you might make for yourself. Creating checkpoints can be incredibly helpful in making sure you're still on track with your goals. You just listened to the post titled, Creating Checkpoints for Living Well by Anthony Ongaro of breakthetwitch.com, and I'll be right back with my commentary. I don't know about you, but for me, holiday traditions are all about the memories. And what if you could give a gift this season that brings those memories to life every day of the year? Well, with AuraFrame, you can. For my family, it's not about gifts, but spending quality time, playing games, having dinner, and taking photos. And I've been adding those photos to my AuraFrame on display in my home all year long. It's super easy. Just download the Aura app and connect to Wi-Fi and share photos and videos straight from your phone anytime. You can't wrap togetherness, but you can frame it. For a limited time, visit auraframes.com and get $45 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames named #1 by Wirecutter by using promo code OLD at checkout. That's AURA frames.com, promo code OLD. This exclusive Black Friday Cyber Monday deal is their best of the year, so order now before it ends. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. It's time for Black Friday, Dell Technologies' biggest sale of the year. That's right, you'll find huge savings on select Dell PCs like the Dell 16 Plus with Intel Core Ultra processors. And with built-in advanced AI features, it's the PC that helps you do more faster. From smarter multitasking to extended battery life, these PCs get the busy work done so you can focus on what matters most to you. Plus, earn Dell rewards and enjoy many other benefits like free shipping, expert support, price match guarantee, and flexible financing options. They also have the biggest deals on accessories that pair perfectly with your Dell PC, improving the way you work, play, and connect. Whether you just started holiday shopping or you're finishing up, these PCs and accessories make perfect gifts for everyone on your list. Shop now at Dell.com/deals and don't miss out. That's Dell.com/deals. Thank you to Anthony. I liked what he said at the beginning. He said, as it currently sits, we don't feel that our possessions are preventing us from living the life we want. Our home is easy to clean. We don't have financial obligations to things we purchased in the past. and we're not feeling held down by anything in particular. He also added, one small addition of clothing or a small gadget here and there wouldn't make a noticeable difference in our happiness and environment. The problem comes when we slip into a state of relative comfort, things build up, and all of a sudden, the clutter closes in. I think that's the main takeaway here. Are you in a place you're satisfied with? And if not, what can you do to get the ball rolling? Or if you are, how can you make sure it stays that way? Maybe it is rules, or maybe listening to this podcast helps keep you accountable and helps you remember. Or maybe someone in your life does, or a combination of these. There's so many different ways to go about it, and we have to figure out what works for us individually. So keep thinking about it. Thank you to Anthony for this one. Thank you for being here. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.